Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, Seawall, checking in as I love to do all throughout the NFL season to give you the latest and greatest information on those Washington Commanders. You all welcome to the NFL Week 4 recap. Let's get right on to it. Let's get going. There's a lot of things to discuss, but we have to do some housekeeping items. This is a live Bowie television recording. Everything we say and do here just may end up on the Tizoo. You can catch this show each and every single day on Bowie Television, Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77 for Bowie and surrounding areas from 1:30 to 2:30 every single day. And on the weekends, you can catch it during the noon hour before your game day gets started. So, those are your housekeeping items. I see that folks are already starting to check in, and I hope it's those loving, super duper hype Washington Commanders fans. So make sure you drop a line, hit a love button, drop a fire emoji so that I know you are in the building. Make sure you say hello to Mama Waller and say hello to Pops Waller because they're always checking in as always. So, we got to go ahead and get right on into the discussion. I see Eric Jessup has jumped in with the hello to Mama Waller. We got a lot to discuss, a whole lot to discuss. I see Cameron Mingo has jumped in and is already making comments about the game. So, if you all are checking in, again, hit that love button, drop a fire emoji so I can say hello and make sure your comments are accounted for. Well, let's go ahead and get on into it. It was a nail biter, now, wasn't it? At Lincoln Financial Field, Washington Commanders versus Philadelphia Eagles. What was an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous weather day. Despite the end of the game and how the game turned out, the weather was absolutely tremendous. And I see DJ Bland has jumped in as well. You all want to make sure you are sharing this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends because we definitely have a lot to talk about. And I see the CEO of Team Bullard Academy, Lawrence Bullard, has checked in as well. Let's get right on into it. Why don't we? What's your one word, everybody? Come on with it. NFL Week 4. What's your one word to describe how you are feeling, how you were feeling after the Commanders versus Eagles actually overtime game? Overtime. Went into overtime. And let me tell you all something. I hope you all brought your dinner. Did you bring your dinner? Did you bring your dinner? I hope you are ready to talk through some of the highs and lows of the day. We're going to, of course, share some excellent pictures by Bowie TV. Works with me closely, photographer, videographer, working on the Commander show, Darrell Owens. Um, we're going to look through some pictures. We're going to look through some press conferences. I want to make sure I'm addressing everyone's questions as well. Cameron Mingo has close. Is his word. I don't have a one word. I see whatever everybody else is saying. I see Eric Jessup says he is promising. Let's get right on into it. Why don't we? Overall, and we're going to get into some of these and we're going to have some fun too. We're going to have some fun because I know everybody's feeling some type of way. All right. As you can see, I'm not. I was actually in still a very good mood. It wasn't hey, and there are no moral victories. See the word competitive here. And that nobody, let's say this, when I start to tell you all about how the culture has shifted and how these guys respond to wins and losses now, I want you all to understand that nobody was about that moral victory stuff. Nobody was trying to hear, oh, you all play really competitive. Oh, you was this, you was that. They did not. Keep those types of comments to yourself. They were sad. Now, the week prior, right, with the down and out, very dismal loss to the Buffalo Bills, they were upset, angry, very frustrated with that loss. This week, it was there was some feelings hurt. There was some feelings hurt. They were not happy, but it was a different kind of not happy, if that makes sense. For sure, sad. They were sad. Um, and I've steadily been watching how they respond in wins and losses. There was a lot of energy going into that game. I knew that, especially from the offensive side, I knew that they were had buckled down. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. I had a question, I think, come on one of my posts Sunday morning, like, how they looking? Um, are they prepared? And I'm like, well, shoot, they were prepared going into the Bills game, and we saw how that turned out. So I don't know. We'll see. What I did know was that from an offensive side, they took it very seriously, what happened in week 3 against the Buffalo Bills. And I know I had told you all, this is not something that I have seen before. Um, and so I love this comment by Brian Bigham, which is, I just wanted to see what Sam Howell was going to do. Week 3, I've never seen that Sam. I've never seen the panic mode Sam. And so I really was happy to see a Sam Howell that I recognize. Calm. You all have heard me call him calm, poise. Exactly what he did and how he responded. That's Sam. He doesn't make the same mistakes twice. And we saw him make the same mistakes repeatedly in one game, and that's just not him. And he doesn't get flustered. He doesn't get in panic mode. He doesn't play hero football. And we saw that in real life on Sunday, right? And we're going to get into some fun stuff. I'm going to show you all some of my favorite moments of the game. The offense, I could see them, and I could see all the team. I could see everybody. We didn't go down there, but we could see everyone. And I knew that they were hype. They were ready to go. It was, I saw AG getting really, really hype over there. Jahan, Logan Thomas, saw Sam Cosmi, Nick Gates. I mean, they were ready to rock. Terry McLaurin. Hey, listen, Terry McLaurin is the ultimate professional. But let's be very, very clear about something. When Terry McLaurin is out there on the football field, he is a goon. All right. He turns into a goon. And he's extremely competitive. And they had it. They had all of the swag, all of the everything you want your team to go out there. And they were not, everybody knows and has heard the stories about how ruthless Lincoln Financial Field can be and how Eagles fans can be. Everybody knows those stories. If you've ever been, drop it in the chat about your experience. They tough. The Commanders was ready for it. They were ready for all of the comments, all of the trash talk. They were ready for it. I have not seen them that hype before a game yet. Not that they don't get hype, because they absolutely get hype, but it was just a different swag about them. and it wasn't a pompous or arrogant swag. They were ready to compete. They were ready to roll. And it was exciting to see the first offensive drive and other, just everything as they were moving along. So I'm going to stop there because I can keep going, and we're going to keep going because we got a lot to talk about for sure. I got to get into some questions, and I absolutely want to get into some of the press conferences as well that I think is important. But you had to have had you all some fun moments, some moments that if you caught it on TV, drop it in the chat right now because I want to know some of your favorite moments of the game. Okay, if you're just tuning in from the Culture from the Couch series, this is your Washington Commanders update. I am your host, C. Wall from Bowie Television, giving you all the latest and greatest information of what was going on live at Lincoln Financial Field as we were covering the Washington Commanders versus Philadelphia Eagles. Here's some of my personal very fun moments, and I'm waiting for your fun moment. There had to be, even though they lost, and I know nobody's wanting to do this more victories, but come on, y'all. Some of this was kind of funny or kind of like scary. Let's go ahead and talk about this moment. B-Rob, Brian Robinson Jr., ladies and gentlemen, he trucks somebody, completely trucks somebody to get into the end zone, and then OMG, what happens? Then he in turn gets trucked in something that never happens to B-Rob. It happened. It happened. Okay? It happened. He fumbled. Who lost their breath when B-Rob fumbled? For the first time, oh my God, B-Rob fumbled. And then what happens? You see these two right here. You see the sevens show up. Because what I saw from my angle, we know that Terry McLaurin got that fumble. They got it. They were hustling. But when you see Terry McLaurin get out there hustling alongside Sadiq Charles from the offensive line, I said, here we go. These boys want to win this football game. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So this was one of my favorite moments. Why? Because we saw B-Rob do something that we've never seen him do at all. And then because he trucked somebody, he got trucked. Here comes the team, like, get the football. These two dudes all over top of it, recover the fumble, get the touchdown. Really nice moment. Then guess what happens, right? I'm going to show y'all this, all right? Nick Gates, the man himself. You all have heard me talk about Nick Gates slapping people and how Nick Gates is not play. He is down for his team. Look at how he's coming over there, giving those kudos to Terry McLaurin. Then Eagles fans literally just start heckling Nick Gates. And this is his response right here. One of my other highlights of the game. This is Nick Gates' response right here. And look at how Terry McLaurin is laughing. He thinks this is the funniest thing ever. And it is, right? It is funny. And so it would have been even more funny had they won the game, but that's not how it went down. But let me tell you, Nick Gates is not here to play with anybody. If it's one thing you're going to not do, you're not going to take down his quarterback. He's going to try to work as hard as he possibly can not to take down the quarterback. And he is going, if you ever wanted your offensive line to have a mean streak, it starts with this guy right here. Pleasant guy, absolutely one of the coolest guys, for real. But out there on that field, if you ain't with him, you against him, and he going to go to bat for his teammates. Right here, I'm really happy for this one right here. Really happy for this guy right here. Curtis Samuel. So many people have written Curtis Samuel off. And we talk about redemption. We talk about all that. I'm going to talk about Jahan Dotson in a moment as well. But really happy for Curtis. Curtis still has a lot of gas in the tank. He's got a lot to contribute. And he loves being a member of this football team. Shout out to Curtis Samuel because he scored a touchdown too yesterday. Now, we're not going to act like Curtis Samuel was not in the building. Here we go. This part here, I literally laughed out loud. Should not have, but I did. Why? Because Chase Young, it's already a pile. It's already a pile. And what happens? Chase Young says, I'm just going to jump on top of the pile. Why, Chase? Why are you jumping on top of the pile? For what? What you do that for? Huh? Just for fun? You said, I'm going to make an impact. If I make an impact, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to jump on top of this pile because that's what I want to do. And so that was funny to me. And I saw some of your other comments come through, like about Jahan Dotson, the opening drive. I saw that comment come through that Cameron Mingo, the opening drive was your fun moment. They finally made it work, and it did for them. The catch, the Terry McLaurin catch in overtime, that was a catch, but then they said it was inconclusive, so then no catch is what it is. You might be surprised by what I say is, and I want to acknowledge this comment here, and I see Mazdak has joined us well. Curtis has been using this offense very well. Yep, he's a bit of a swift. Hey, listen, don't forget about Curtis Samuel. One of the things that I shared with my Fox Sports 1340 AM family before in the pregame, love button, fire emoji, if you were able to catch that this was a game, after what happened last week, this was a game that absolutely Eric Bieniemy was going to start to show his creativity. You have to use your assets. You saw everybody get a piece of the football in that game. Now, of course, it did not end up with a W, but you even saw the offensive line holding so much more. And I want to give a shout out to Ray Rogers from the Fox Sports 1340 AM fam. I had a great time talking to y'all yesterday, and always have a great time talking to you all. And like Ray said, you called it. I said, if ever you were going to get a taste of what this offense can do, today is where all of the tricks going to come out the bag. It's going to happen today. You're going to see it today. You're going to see that balance of, okay, run the football. Then we got some weapons out here that can catch this daggone football too. And it is just straight up. You saw it. And you saw what could be if the offensive line holds. Here was the thing, though. The offensive line held up as much as they could. Yes, Sam did get taken down a couple times, but not like he did the week prior. So love button, fire emoji for that. He didn't go down as much as he did in week 3. But you saw not only the offensive line hold up a little bit longer, you saw Sam Howell make his reads faster and get the ball out quicker. And when he couldn't figure it out, when they couldn't find it, he threw it away. That's the Sam Howell I know. So that's what I'm saying. It all has to work together. Can't be one side. It can't be all O-line. Can't be all Sam Howell either. They have to come together to make it work. That's the Sam Howell I'm used to watching in practice. So I said, oh, okay, Sam. And even when you saw them make mistakes, next play they recovered. Logan Thomas coming back from a concussion. He made it work. Absolutely made it work. And I know that was a question that Ray and Wole asked me. And that was, are they going to use Logan Thomas? I said, I fully expect Logan Thomas to be an active contributor to this football game. And he was. Absolutely. So from a offense standpoint, yes, there were some missed opportunities. Yes, there were some things they could have done better always, but you couldn't have really, based on what they did week 3, some big deals that need to be made about this conversation and what we saw yesterday offensively of what could be from this football team. And if you've just tuned in, you all are watching from the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders update. I am your host, Seawall. Bowie Television. This show comes on each and every single day on Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77. You all are watching the live discussion, which means whatever you say here just might end up on the Tizoob. Bowie TV, we're on site with the Commanders. We're at the games. We're at practices. We're in the locker room. We know what's going on. We know what's happening. So you want to make sure you are absolutely tuned into this because we in the know and we know what's happening. And those awesome pictures you saw, high five to Darrell Lee Owens Sr. because that's who takes them. And that's who's doing all of the above when it comes to the graphics. That's not me. That's Darrell. So shout out to him as well. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way because we got a lot to talk about. We still got to get through press conferences, y'all. And y'all are going to be shocked about what I liked about what I did see defensively that I'm sure everybody's like, what is she talking about? Let's go ahead. Most fans are angry that Commanders didn't go for 2 at the end. Here's the thing. You daggone if you do, you daggone if you don't. Because here's the reality. Had they gone for 2 and not gotten it, was the first thing everybody gonna say, well, why they go to 2? They went for 2 last week and they didn't get it. Take them to overtime. Take them to overtime. The offense was hot. The challenge was the defense wasn't holding on. They weren't stopping Jalen Hurts. I had told several people, and I said this in the pregame show as well. Jalen Hurts is a smart quarterback. And I may as well get into this rant now. But before I get into this rant, no, I don't want to get into this rant. I want to do this. I want to talk about Emmanuel Forbes because I think it's an important topic, right? Here's the deal. Here's the thing. Here's the Seawall perspective on Emmanuel Forbes and what happened. It was going to happen one day. First and foremost, it was going to happen one day. It was going to happen. So here's the reality. That's Jack Del Rio's guy, Emmanuel Forbes. That's what he wanted. You got to learn one day. He either going to live through it. This is what Coach Del Rio said last week. He either going to live through it or he going to learn from it. Live through it or learn from it. I see this comment here, and it's not as bad as everybody thought it was. Okay. You also have to, it's really not. And from what I could see, I thought he held up pretty good. Now, was there 2 things that, okay, he got scored on? That's AJ Brown. Yeah, he scores on most people. All right. This is not unheard of. This is not unheard of. What happened wasn't, and I want to see this again. Somebody that saw what I saw. He got beat for the first one. Not, you know what I'm saying? But what you gonna do? Like, it's AJ Brown. And it's not only that. Yes, Coach Del Rio put a lot of stock in this kid. Believes a lot in him, as they do. And I already told y'all. I've been telling you all since the summer. Emmanuel Forbes will be checking wide receiver 1s and tight end 1s as well. And I told you all, love button fire emoji. If you remember me telling you all, this is what he is here to do, to cover WR1, TE1. That's scary. I was scared then because I see and we know who he covers in practice. So if that's who you covering in practice, that's what you're going to do on game day. Yes, they picked on him. And AJ Brown is going to sit right there and say, oh, y'all going to put a rookie on me. Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. Welcome to the league, kid. Okay. Welcome. Go ahead and get that out now. Get it out in week 4. Get it out in week 4. Okay? Now, does it still hurt? Of course. But it really, sitting in from my vantage point, I had much more issues. At one point, I had to, because I do this, I want to get in and save somebody, right? And I'm like, Coach Del Rio, make the adjustment, help him out. But then I had to say, Candy, this is why Emmanuel is here. It's a heck of a lesson to learn, but this is why he's here. This is what they have him here to do. He's going to be fine, everyone. I saw everybody calling the young man trash. I said, huh? I said, what? Now, he's been locking everything up for the first 3 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, he's trash. No, he's not trash at all, okay? It was A.J. Brown. It was going to happen one of these weeks, you all. It was, all right? And that is no shade at all to Emmanuel Forbes, at all. It was going to happen, and they know each other, as several people have. I think Melvin Roberts said it. I see now that Lamar Bland has said it. You all got to know your history about these people, all right? They know each other. They spoke after the game. It's all respect. They'll see each other again in a couple weeks. Hard lesson to learn. It really wasn't as bad as you all thought it was. At least it wasn't to me. I had more of a challenge with the linebacker position group. I'm just not going to let it go. I feel like that linebacker position group can play better. I felt like the defensive line was definitely getting pressure on Jalen Hurts, but once they figured out where the weak link was or what was going to happen, of course you're going to feed AJ. But there was still too much space open in that middle for me. It was still way too much space on the line. It was way too much space open. It was a lot of times they going right through the middle, catching right in the middle. Why? Because it's always open, and anybody that's watching the game or able to catch the 22 sees that on a regular basis. Now, I want to go to this point, and it's been an issue for a while, which is, why does it seem like when the Commanders play good to great quarterbacks, they have tremendous issues? There's a lot of capital on that line, a lot of capital, and it has to come up in a way where it impacts the scoreboard. I literally said in a post, today is not the day to make Sam Howell win this game for you. This ain't it. This is not the one. Sam is great. I'm an advocate for Sam Howell. Let's be clear. But in my role, in what I do, I have to be objective. And I already knew going in, this ain't the day to make Sam Howell be your hero. It's not the day. Because the defense need to do their part. And guess what? I want to say that he almost did. Almost doesn't count. He didn't. You want to know why? Because the defense was not, got to get the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. He's too good. He's too smart. He's not going to give up. So you got to, get him off the field. Get Jalen Hurts off of the field. If you allow him to get an opportunity, he's going to make you pay for it. Yeah, Sam almost did, but you don't even want him in that predicament. You don't want him in that predicament because it's already a lot to score 31. Now, we done seen this offense score 35. We've seen them now score 31. They can get there. Could you imagine what this team could be if you have more consistent play on offense and the defense plays up to their cost, what the bottom line says they're supposed to play? I'm being serious. Love button, fire emoji if you understand what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is, if you get this offense to consistently play in that way, and then the defense matches that level of intensity, you got to get a quarterback like Jalen Hurts off the field. You just do. Because if your offense got to score 31, guess what? Jalen, you have to. You have to. The passive approach is not going to work when you are talking a league of high-powered offenses. This is what they do in the NFL. They score touchdowns. This is what they do. So your defense, you gotta shut that down. Not on us. Not this week. Especially after you saw. Let's go back to. I haven't even gotten to the press conferences yet. So I'm gonna have to make a game time decision, pun intended, on how we're gonna do this. Because here's the reality about this: in a culture of you got to score 30 to win and all of that, your defense, this is what you got them here for. Let them hunt. Let them hunt. Let them get to the quarterback. Because Jalen Hurts gonna make you pay for it. And then they have an excellent kicker. I mean, Philadelphia's kicker might be. I mean, we know Justin Tucker with the Baltimore Ravens. We all know he's the best. But Jake Elliott is very good. Very good. So just get them out. Don't even let them get to field goal range. Get them up off the field. Period. That's all. I want to go back to the last. I saw a lot of Eagles fans. We were even talking about it in the press room, that were upset with the decision. They thought the Eagles scored too fast. And here's the reality. They did that because Sam Howell wasn't a threat. They were like, they're not getting down the field. But they did because I've told you all this before. And Sam Howell actually told y'all this before too. And that is, they practice 2-minute drills all the time in practice. If they're going to get something off, it's going to be that 2-minute drill. Shout out to David Aldridge, because you want to know what happened? We were sitting there, we were watching the game, and David Aldridge said they're going to score. And we were like, oh my gosh. And then I went through my whole little, I can't watch this. Now they're taking me out of my zone. I was in my zone, and now they're taking me out. David Aldridge said, this is what they're going to do. And we all sat there and watched it. Why? Because we watched them do it in practice. They executed to perfection almost. Now, they did end up getting that holding penalty, which helped them get down the field. Let's be for real about it. They got that holding penalty and helped them get down the field. It really did. We're talking about why we're still in regulation. That's what happened. Even still, good enough, great. I'm going to go really quick and go back to the conversation about Jahan Dotson, because I've shared with you all the intensity of Jahan Dotson, and Jahan made some mistakes. Jahan's made a couple of mistakes, and he shared it. And we're gonna go ahead and go to Jahan's presser, because love button fire emoji. Did you all watch Jahan's presser? And if you did you really pay attention to what he said? Because I say, if you all are paying attention to these press conferences, and if you're watching this show, you're getting a lot of intel about what they're doing and what's going on. Let me just go ahead and jump to Jahan Dotson's press conference. It's about 4 or so minutes long. Let's see if you all are going to catch it and see if you got exactly what he was dropping.
We had a play call. Basically, everyone get in the end zone, and kind of run curl routes, and we had one-on-one coverage. It was the last play of the game. We knew that, and Sam just gave me a chance, and I was able to create a little bit of separation and make a play.
And what was the mood in the huddle right at the start of the 2-minute drive? What allowed you guys to be such a down?
Yeah, I mean, we practice 2-minute situation every single week. We were doing it almost every day in training camp, so we were more than prepared for the situation. It was just going out there, executing, making sure we get everything possible that we were looking for, and making the most of our looks.
What do you take away from a game like this? I know offense is rolling, but still came up short as a team. What do you take away from it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is making the most of the opportunities when they're present in front of you. I like to talk about myself. I had a chance to convert on a third down, and I dropped the pass, and that's a chance right there. That's a chance for you to move the chains. That's a chance for you to keep your offense out on the field. That's a chance for your defense to get a little bit more rest. You got 3 more downs going at it. So I take full responsibility for that. But, we had a chance, and we got the ball first in OT, and we had a chance to go down and score and put the game away. But that's the biggest thing for me. Is just making the most of the opportunities when they're present in front of you, because sometimes they don't come back. Going back to that drop, that I had a drop, and the next play I got targeted was the last play of regulation. So you don't know if you're going to get the opportunities back, so you got to make the most of them when they come to you.
Ron was saying, sometimes it's the details, the littlest details can make a big difference. Do you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why football is the ultimate team game. You could have 10 guys doing the right thing and one guy not, and play goes completely wrong. So it's all about the little details, all about staying together. That was the message we sent to the team before the game. Just staying together no matter what, having your teammates back, making sure we push through as a group. So that was the biggest thing. Little details we got to clean up, obviously, because when you play good teams, the win margin is very small. Or the margin of error is very small. So, you got to make the most of your opportunities when you get them.
Mark, I know all losses sting, but this one had a special sting just because it's on the road and playing against the best team in the division, dominating the division, and you have a real chance to beat.
Yeah, for sure. All losses sting, but yeah, I would say this one stings a little bit more, just because I keep going back to the opportunities that you had in the game, and when they were, and we just didn't capitalize on some of them, and that goes back to little details, little detailed things, making sure that you're giving your maximum effort on every single play that you're out there, and you're making sure that you're doing your job, so that the guy next to you can count on you doing that. So I feel like it was little details things, and it's such a small margin of error, and he's lost.
So, couple things. Love button fire emoji. I'm gonna tell you why. I told y'all they practice those 2-minute drills like every day. I told y'all this. I said that. I said, hey, listen, they're gonna be really good at that. Coach Bieniemy beat. And what did I also say? Coach Bieniemy puts them in real life game situations. You all saw that come to life. And I'm going to make sure I share those things with you all and tag your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. They're like, hey, Seawall, Bowie Television, they're there and they're paying attention and they're telling us what's going on and they're telling us what's happening. I also wanted to mention this. I looked over and give Donna Hopkins a high five and a shout out, because I looked over at Donna with that drop that Jahan is mentioning. I looked over at Donna and I said, Jahan is struggling. And he's been struggling a little bit. Don't know what's going on. I said, but we might not see him for the rest of the day. And as he said in the presser, he didn't get targeted again until what? The game tying, excuse me, I almost said game winning, because that would have been nice as well. Game tying situation. You want to know why I believe that happens? Now, I don't know for a fact, because I haven't talked to Coach Bieniemy about this. But in that situation, he believes in Jahan. He believes in every single last one of those guys. Melvin Roberts, I saw you talk about Antonio Gibson. Guess what? Coach Bieniemy believes in him too, because every time he gets the football now, I stop breathing. But he believes in these guys. He believes in them. He makes them believe in himself. And I even posted that yesterday. I said, I really appreciate how Coach Bieniemy really believes in these guys. He's going to believe in you. But what did Jahan tell in his own presser? After that drop, I didn't get targeted again until that last play. Why? Because now I can't trust you. However, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tie this thing up. What did he say? It was everybody getting in zone. Let them loose. Somebody gonna catch it because they can't catch all of y'all because you're too fast. And that's what happened. That is what happened. Something that I've been sharing that they practice all the time. And what did Jahan tell you? We practice it every day in training camp. And who was there every day in training camp with them? Me. So listen, as well as others. But Seawall, who you all come for your information, was there too. And I told you. Coach Bieniemy is really serious about his craft. And I'm going to tell you something else that he's serious about. He's serious about taking accountability when the team does not perform well. I shared this with you all last week, and I thought it was important to share that message with you all from him of what he shared in his press conference, that he says we got to be accountable to the players. If they don't perform well, that's on us. I think he took his role very seriously this week, and the team responded accordingly. Now, I want to get to some questions that Lamar Bland sent over really quick because I think it's important. First question, Ron admitted that Forbes needs to be better at playing the technique that they're coaching, and we saw A.J. Brown prove why he was a bad matchup for Emmanuel. What do you make of Jack's decision to sell out against the run and entrust his young corner to battle outside with an all-pro wide receiver? This goes back to almost being stubborn, and just wanting to be right. He's got a lot of trust in Emmanuel. I shared that with you all. I said, hey, we watched this in practice. I see who he covering in practice. And let me tell you something. If he's expecting Emmanuel to cover wide receiver 1 and tight end 1 on these teams that they playing this season, that is very, very interesting. That is very interesting. And he's got a lot of faith in his kid coming out the gate. Whoa. So that's the only reason. That's really what I think it was. He was like, keep him in there. Fight through it. He gonna live or he gonna learn. And that's what happened. That is truly what I think is just what happened. He was sticking with his kid. He was sticking with his first round draft pick. And because that's who he wants him to be. You might not have got him this time, but one day you will. That is seriously the only logic. I don't think it had scheme or anything to do about it other than I'm going with my guy. For real. That's all I think it is. After the game on Sunday, again from Lamar Bland, after the game Sunday, Ron took to the podium and came across more visibly irritated and incoherent as usual. What or whom do you think was the source? What or whom do you think the source was? They lost. That is very simple. Going back to Jack, he was sticking with his first round pick. Ron, visibly irritated, and they lost. That's why. And he said this in his presser as well. And I had that to pull up, but we can talk more to it. He said this as well, which was they're better than that. I'm going to sit up here and tell you, I'm still waiting for the team that I've been watching in practice since May to show up. That's what I'm waiting for. I said I saw it one time, and it was only for a half, and that was against the Broncos. I still haven't seen the team because I'm going to go back and use Jahan as an example. Jahan still isn't all that I know and have seen him be in practices. And he knows that. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does that. I'm not talking about perfection. Let me be very clear. But what I am saying is I still haven't seen the collective team be who I watch in practice. You know what I mean? That's it, and that's all. They're still not there. And they can be. The team that I have watched in practice could have absolutely beat that Eagles team yesterday. No doubt. But I still didn't have it as a W on my schedule because you have not given me enough credibility on game day to make me believe that from a schematic and play perspective, you were going to outsmart and outplay the Philadelphia Eagles in their house. You haven't shown me that yet on a game day. And until you show me that on a game day, I'm not putting my chips in on you. I know you're totally capable of being that team. You absolutely should be that team as created right now. Seriously, and I'm going back to this, but they haven't shown that yet in a full game yet this season. It's got to all come together. And I know it's hard. That's with any team. It's with any team. But again, you heard what I said. Schematically and player-wise. Because this is two facets to this. The coaches come up with the scheme. The coaches come up with the matchups. I'm not seeing enough of some of these players winning their one-on-one matchups. So what's happening there? Are you not sure who they playing on Sunday? Because that should be a little bit more. That's a planning and preparation thing right there. Until you come together that way, I'm not putting all my chips on you. I'm just not. I want to because I know what I see. I've probably shared more stories with you all now that I don't know who I'm watching. That opening drive yesterday was the first time I said, I know those people right there. I know them. That makes a lot of sense to me. I'm talking about on an opening drive. But see, game day is different though. And I learned that, and we talked about that on the show. It's different because it's a different team. Game day action ain't like when you're playing against your teammates is definitely not the same as playing against somebody else. It's just not. The only person who probably rolls like that is Nick Gates. He don't care who he playing against. You might get slapped. Seriously, he's probably the only one that's like that. But everybody else is not like that. They're not, because you're not tackling. You can't tackle. It's not the same. I'm getting passionate about this topic because it's important. It's an important thing, and you want to see it come together. Now, let me be very clear about something else. I don't think it's a gloom and doom situation. Love button, fire emoji, if you still think this team has a lot of upside. If they can make it all work, it'll be a very good team. Very good team. Third question from Lamar Bland. For a player who a lot of fans have seemingly written off, Curtis Samuel has played extremely well when given the opportunity to make plays. Is it possible he could have a bigger role in this offense, given his versatility and yards after catch? Here's the thing. And I shared this earlier. He was one of my favorite people yesterday. I said, you know what? I'm so happy. Give Curtis Samuel his flowers, everybody. Give it to him. Because there was a lot of people that get him out of here. He weak. He can't do this. He can't do that. Oh, no. Okay? No, we don't let Curtis just walk. I think the thing about it is, and I want to explain this to everybody. Hear me out. Somebody's going to get the short end of the yardage stick in some of these games because you just don't have, it's just not enough snaps and enough things to go around. Sometimes you just got to do it based on what works, one-on-one matchups, based on what schemes that they're doing. Sometimes you just got to play smart. Sometimes it makes sense to feed Curtis. I saw them feed Byron Pringle a couple times yesterday. Sometimes it just makes sense. And then there's going to be instances where you got to drop like Jahan had, and they're going to be like, and then we're going to use you to get us tied up and take this bad boy into overtime. You're not going to be able to guess. Eric Bieniemy ain't that kind of offensive coordinator. You're not going to always know who gets the football because let's go back to this tight end position. You saw Logan Thomas a lot. You didn't see Cole Turner a lot. Why? Because now people are planning for Cole. They weren't planning for Logan because Logan was still supposed to be out with a concussion, but he was cleared. So we're going to use who we think is going to be the best matchup for that game. You're not going to be able to call it with Eric Bieniemy. You saw what happened. Chris Rodriguez Jr. was out. They had Derek Gore be active, and guess what? Derek Gore came up major for a couple of key blocks to get B-Rob down the field. It's not going to be that same thing where you think you're going to know what's going to happen. Not with Eric Bieniemy. Because I'm going to tell you like this, and I make the joke all the time, when you going to let them all loose? And they did to get the game tied up, you know? And so exactly what, and we've definitely, and we talked about this earlier. Lamar, you might be coming up to the live late. I already said 35 points week 2, 31 points, okay? Week 4, if the defense now, if they can at the same time have this tandem where they meet together and have this be what they can be on all sides of the football, you can see something really special. And DJ Blank, he be scheming up some good stuff. If you paying attention, and don't think anybody's getting slighted now. Like Jahan went ahead and told on himself, hey, I didn't get the ball back after that drop. I ain't get it back. I wasn't targeted anymore. Yep. Because now I got to trust somebody else. And it's enough weaponry to go around. Yes, I said weaponry. Is it a real word? I don't know. Somebody look it up. But listen, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. It's a good thing. No moral victories. They lost. And so if you're seeing an agitated Ron Rivera, listen, let's also go back to that real quick. All of the sad faces I saw, let's be real clear. Everybody understands something. You're dealing with an ownership group that is preaching winning championships. They're not talking about winning games around there, y'all. They're talking about winning championships. They're talking about winning Super Bowls. They're not talking about winning division titles. That's not the message. The message is winning championships. You want to know how I know? Because I've heard it with my own ears. What the message is. So, that's why people walk around there sad. That's why ain't nobody think about no moral victories. Huh? What? This is the division game. Should have beat them. You better than them. Well, so you say, but if it don't show up on the alphabet, in the words of Coach Bieniemy, we got a problem. And it didn't show up in the alphabet. You got an L, not a W. So if you think you that much better, when you see them in a few weeks, prove it. Get the W and not another L. And I think that's what people need to see. When you see this frustration, when you see Coach Rivera agitated, irritated, yeah, because they lost. It's really that simple. There's no conspiracy theories going on, guys. It's none of that going on. They were all upset. And they should be. I'm going to keep saying this because I want it to be very clear. Would you buy a product for $6 billion to watch it lose? Would you buy a product for $6.05 billion to watch it lose? And for the sake of moral victories? No, you would not. That is what you're seeing. And that's all you're seeing. It's no conspiracy theories. They're going to use all of their weapons on offense anyway. Jack just need to tell them, go get it. Go get the football. Go get to the quarterback. Whoever got the football, get it out of their hands. I want to go back to that real quick, too, with defense. And then we're going to shut this down. We've almost talked about this because, listen, there won't be a show Thursday night, obviously. I may do a pregame. I don't know if somebody need me to do a pregame. I'll probably do that. If I hear from anybody, I may jump on for that. Yes, Chicago is in shambles. Chicago Bears. But listen, I don't necessarily believe in trap games, but if ever I did, this would be considered a trap game. And the reason why it is because you don't mess with people when they're desperate. And here's the reality. The Commanders are desperate also because they've won 2 games. They're 2-2. They're at 500 right now, but they are desperate. So if ever they wanted to prove, again, people need y'all not thinking I'm playing. People not looking at all the numbers. Even Coach Bieniemy said that he's not paying attention to all those stats. He's not paying attention to all those numbers. This league, all league wins and losses. That's it. That's all. The Bears don't have any wins. And they got all types of turmoil and chaos going on right now. But guess what? Those are the teams you need to look out for. Those are the teams you better watch your back because they're the ones who will roll up on you because they'll feel like we ain't got nothing to lose. Because if they go 0-5, it's a whole list of people that's probably getting fired. So you got to have your eyes wide open going up into this one. You got to let them know you're still going to be losing. You're still going to be winless leaving up out of FedEx. Because I do think if it doesn't go that way, now we're going to have to, hold a minute, now we got to check on people's morale. Because wait a minute, hold on. Wait a second. The Bears come out of there unscathed and we got some other issues that we're going to have to discuss next week when we do this show. It's going to be some other issues going on. All right? Because ain't nobody dealing with that. They need to still be winless. Everybody's got a point to prove. And the Bears have more of a point to prove than the Commanders do. Don't sleep on that game. It could go either way. But the Commanders need to say, all right, we ain't got nothing to do with y'all not winning no game. You're a professional football team, but we're going to take all this frustration out on y'all. And then you got a team on the other side of the scrimmage line that people, the coaches, those people, they fighting for their football jobs on Thursday night. For real. So you definitely can't say, oh, it's a must win, but you can't say, oh, they got that in the bag. Because people they come up with all kinds of things and all kinds of tricks and schemes and everything when their back is against the wall. And they're facing a Chicago Bears team that is absolutely desperate. And their backs are for sure against the wall. You all stuck it out with me for an hour talking about the Commanders, y'all. Can you believe it? You stuck it out for a whole hour talking to me about this. And I appreciate you all tuning in as you do each and every single week. Again, this is from the Coaching from the Couch series. This is the Washington Commanders update. And you can, even if you don't catch the live, you can always check it out later. So feel free to take that link and share it with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. Tag them in the comments and say, hey, you need to check this out because Bowie Television and Seawall, they got the insight and they know what's happening with these Washington Commanders. You all enjoy the rest of your week. Don't forget, no live on Thursday because I will be at Thursday Night Football. But make sure you all are tuned in because we'll definitely have all of the news and scoop from after that game as well. Talk to you guys again soon.